Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today I want to talk about Atherns Archery closing. Now I want to go through a bit of history about Atherns and my interpretation of it, and there's different people with different interpretations. Atherns was a machine shop. It used to make stuff, had CNC machines, and it had extra space in their production sales. So they thought, let's make bows. So they got some advice, and let's say from people who make Bowtech and Elite, and they started making bows. Now I brought one of their first bows, and it was Draw Link specific, and it was very good. I think they had Barnsdale limbs. Very good bow. Didn't sell for me because it was Draw Link specific, so I lost money on it. Okay, it's hard to sell a bow which is Draw Link specific because you need that exact person to come in, and when that exact person comes in, they've got to have that budget, and there's so many other bows on the marketplace with so much adjustment. Anyway, so roll the clocks forward. Atherns this year, I just had a podcast with Nathan Sellers from Average Jack Archery. He is a big fan of Atherns Archery, and I definitely looked at the bow and I called it a breed between Bowtech and Elite. The modules looked identical to an Elite, so I'll throw up pictures of them. And the cam system looked like a Bowtech. So to me, it looked like it had the best of Elite and the best of Bowtech in the one bow. Looked like a good system that had always been solid. The problems for me was it's a smaller company. It doesn't have the, when I say support, the people backing it. So you don't have the archers shooting the product. And if something goes wrong, is it left with the shop? Now, this week, Atherns Archery announced they were closed. And that leads to me the question about what happens now for the users of the products and the shops. Because if you have a dry fire, if you have a breakage, let's just say you drop the bow and you crack the cam, you cannot get parts for this bow. So basically, it's like buying a second-hand bow, but with most second-hand bows you can get parts. So it's like buying an old second-hand bow that you can't get parts for. As a result, if you're a shop who owns this product, it has lots and lots of issues for you, or it has had for me in the past when companies go out of business. So just recently, Predator Archery went out of business, Martin Archery went out of business, and that leaves for me issues. So when you sell a product, like I was selling Predator bows, and you've still got it in the shop, and it's a good price. Predator was an excellent price, a beautiful product, and the customer goes, look, I'm not happy with this, it's no longer made. You can't send it back to get it fixed. So as a shop, are you responsible for the warranty, or can you sell it without a warranty? So this creates lots of issues. So for me, in my interpretation, and this is always going to get back to governments fighting out and customers fighting out with you. So when I sell a product like a Predator bow, I say there's no warranty with it. It's the last of the things. The company's closed, there's nothing, right? But then if the consumer has a problem with it, then they'll say, well, the warranty's on you, not with Predator, because they're out of business. Even though you've said there's no warranty on this product. And I had that exact case this week with a Legend case. So I did a video on Legend cases. I'm like, these things, they don't do warranties on them. You buy it at your own risk. And I had a person with the zippers pull apart after shooting it for 2 months, after owning it for 2 months, and he's like, well, it should be covered by warranty. And I'm like, they don't do warranty. It's in the video to say they don't do warranty. And what do you do? Now, you could sell the products as second-hand. Okay, you could say, well, I'm going to sell off all my Atherns bows as second-hand. And I'm going to say to you, as a shop, you're going to have exactly the same issues. You're going to have exactly the same issues. When I sell second-hand stuff and people break it, they still go, well, you sold a faulty product. And I had that exact case this week. I sold a recurve riser, and the person snapped the screws. I don't know why they're adjusting. I always tell people not to adjust stuff. But I know that bow was good. It was owned by a local archer who's Australian champion, who shot the bow for about 2 months, no issues. Literally, so the bow's about 8 weeks old, and he sold it because he brought a green riser because he likes green. And then we send it out and the customer goes, you stuck the bolt with super glue or something. Like, you can't stick a bolt with super glue. But anyway, So then you have this fight, even though it was sold as a second-hand product, and even though he physically broke the screw inside the riser, you're like, well, what do you do? So for me, as a consumer or as a shop owner, if you have an Athens bow in your shop, you want to move it as fast as possible, because there's still probably going to be some parts around. Some shops are going to have some parts, so it's going to be still going to be possible to get parts. And I would sell it that the company's gone broke, and when I advertise it, I would have Athens is out of business, the parts will no longer be available, and I would put a disclaimer saying, you're buying at your own risk, and I would discount the price, which means you're going to lose money. So if I was Nathan and I shoot an Athens bow, I'd be switching to another bow first thing, because I sell what I shoot. And you've got to have a product you believe in, as far as a product that backs you up with customer service. So pick a product you like that has customer service and you're comfortable shooting and you think it shoots well, and that's the product you shoot. So you get rid of the bow you have, you sell it off as second hand. Again, put the disclaimer, there's no warranty, and that way if the person dry fires the bow and derails the bow, you're like, well, look, it's in the disclaimer. And that way, if they take it to court, you're pretty covered, okay? Chances are the consumer will lose, right? So now I'm going to say you don't want to go to court if you're a shop owner, because it takes time to prepare all the documents, it takes time to prepare a case, and it's a complete waste of thing when you're already losing money on the bow. So you don't normally make a lot of money when you sell a bow. In this case, you're going to be losing money. You might be losing half the cost. So if you're a consumer who has an Athens bow and you paid full price, let's hope the bow doesn't break on you because you're out of thing. You could look to see if you can get spare parts for your bows. That way, if something does happen, you've got spare parts for it. Now, in all, I'm going to say I've been shooting archery for 40 odd years. I shoot compound and recurve, and I shoot every day. The number of products I have had that have personally failed are almost zero. I cannot think of one to ever fail. However, every day in my shop, I'm dealing with probably 2 complaints. Probably 2, maybe more. 2 complaints and people breaking their stuff. And most of it, I'm going to say, is self-inflicted, with people breaking screws and doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. And most of it's in, I'm going to say most of it's in ignorance, always beginners. I would be very comfortable if one of the top shooters did it, because, if he was tuning his bow and, was playing around, I'd be completely understandable. It's just they're generally beginners and they're generally stuffing around with stuff they don't understand for the sake of stuffing around with stuff, and that's what I see every day in my shop. So with Athens out of business, think about whether you shoot in Athens, whether you get rid of it now, because the price is going to drop. It's going to tank. So if you think half price is a good price to pay for an Athens, think again, it might be quarter price. So $2,000 bow, would I pay $1,000 for an Athens? I'm not paying $1,000 for an Athens. Now, $500 for a brand new one, it's kind of interesting. If they're $2,000 brand new, quarter price, it's kind of interesting. But the problem is with Athens, there won't be a follow-on as far as people will want it as a collector's item, because the company no longer exists and didn't have that collector base, in my view. Like a product like PSE or Bear or Jennings, which would have some sort of nostalgia for people. So that's one of the first things I want to think about. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the claim on companies suing companies for patents. Literally, it occurs all the time, and you're probably unaware of it. There was when I was friendly, when I used to go to PSE, I used to hear about PSE taking Bowtech to court. I used to hear about Matthews and PSE in court, and various companies suing other companies. Now, there's lots of reasons for this, because you only need to change the product a small percentage, so that way you overcome the patent law. Okay, so a patent lawyer would say, no, look, it's a different product. We've changed it 10%, and hence it doesn't. You don't have to pay the patents, which is my understanding what Athens thought. But then when you go to court and you've got to fight this is going to cost you lots of money, and you choose to go out of business because it's too hard to fight. Now, my understanding was there was 2 patents, and I'm going to say there's more than 2 patents. There was 2 patents on a cam for a compound bow, and I don't know if it's a hybrid cam or the 1.5 cam, but there was 2 patents which are almost the same. And some companies were paying to one company, and some companies were paying to the other company. As a result, you may be paying bills to one provider, and then the other provider goes, no, actually it's my cam, so I'm going to take you to court, even though you've been paying the other company. To me, this is all a little bit too much and too much risk to get involved with for the profits you make on a compound bow. As a result, I would question the viability of a compound bow business with all the patents and all that. Now, my understanding was that Bowtech didn't want to share the patent. They want to have their cam for themselves. They think it's superior, and it's pretty cool. And it's certainly more sophisticated than other cam systems on the market. So Bowtech have got theirs, and they're like, this is our thing. This is what we do. So I saw lots of people criticizing Bowtech, but like, it's their design. They came up with it, and it's a cool product, and that's the way it is. It's also going to raise the question about the Chinese copying the American products. And that patents don't apply in China. My understanding is that for patents, that you've got to apply in each individual country for the patent to apply in that country. That costs money, and lots of the bow manufacturers will just apply the patent in America. Okay, so and I assume taking a company to court overseas is a lot more expensive than taking a company to court locally. Right, so that's why a lot of the Chinese and stuff don't get sued. And my understanding is from talking to the Chinese companies that when the Americans raise a problem with patents, then the Chinese company just modifies the item so it then passes the thing and everyone's happy. Whether they're happy or not, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. This is just my feedback. So at the end of the day, Athens is closed, and I'm very sorry for the employees of Athens. Very sorry for the dealers, the shooters, the owners, because you invest so much money in your company, you put so much time into your company, and it has a effect downstream. It has a huge effect downstream for anyone who invested in it, and you've got all this product on the shelves, and suddenly you've just lost 3/4 of your value of your items. Huge thing. And then for the people who shoot Athens, well, you've still got a product you use. Just try not to break it, basically, because if you break it, you're probably stuffed. And like I said, there will be parts available for some time, because there'll be dealers around America who have got them, so you'll probably be able to chase up bits. And like limbs will be available from people like Barnsdale and those who make custom limbs for different bow companies. So it's probably possible to get limbs. Cams will be a problem. So I would just move on if that was me, because the cost of a bow, I would just move on. If you're shooting in Athens now, whether you should buy another product, that's up to you. It's a hard thing to say whether you should shoot another one. Like I said, it wouldn't worry me that much because I don't generally break stuff, so it wouldn't be in the top of my head. And if it did break, I'd just go, well, I've got to buy another one. That's life. These things occur. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.